Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are finishing hopefully the chair we started in our previous video. We have just finished our beautiful frame, steel frame, and now we're gonna put some seat on it and put some back on the back of the chair, and let's go right into it. So this is our frame, this is our object, our frame object. Let's call it frame by double clicking. And then with the frame selected, we're going to shift D to duplicate this object, and just press our right click on the button to keep it in the same place. And we're going to name it seat. Let's name it seat, our second object. And then we're going to switch off the visibility of our frame so that we only have our seat. I know this doesn't look exactly like a seat, but we'll get there. Have faith, have faith. Okay, so now we can, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn off all our modifiers, because when we duplicate this object, we also duplicated its modifiers, and we're gonna turn them all off. And what we're going to do, we're going to go into our object data properties panel, and under normals, we're going to auto smooth by 30 degrees. So it smooths these edges, but not this sharp edge. Okay. And then we're going to go into edit mode, and we're going to select these faces. We're going to be in a face select mode by pressing 3, and we're going to select this face and hold Control to select all the faces in between these two faces. And then we're going to press Control I to invert selection, press delete, and delete faces. So now this looks a bit like a seat, doesn't it? Let's turn on our frame again, and here we go. And now we have our object. Let's select all and go right here under extrude region, press and hold, and select extrude along normals. So this little circle appears. You can press and hold and extrude it. I don't know, you can do this, and then in little our pop-up window here, we're gonna try with 6 centimeters to see how it looks. Let's go into side view with 1 on the numpad. 6, I don't know, looks fine. 6, okay, let's go with 6. And then we're going to select these faces by holding Control, go into select box tool, and move them. Another thing we're going to do here, snapping. So snapping, we're gonna select this Vertex Snapping, and snapping doesn't need to be enabled if you want it. If you want to have it enabled, you always keep it off. But this is another cool tip for you. Now I want to move this Y to constrain it on the Y-axis, and then I want to snap it to somewhere around here. As you can see, our snapping is disabled, and when you're starting the tool, and when you're into the tool and you already started the movement, the transformation, you cannot turn it back on. But this is a little workaround, little tip. You can hold Control, and this automatically enables snapping. So now I want to snap to this vertex around here, and we have our primordial seat. It obviously doesn't look as good as it should, but let's keep it like this for now, because what we're going to do, we're going to go into object mode, and now we will add a modifier. And we will not add a subdivision surface modifier this time, but we will add a multi-resolution modifier. It works very similar to subdivision surface, but you can sculpt on it. So that's the cool thing about it. You can sculpt on practically simplest geometry. But first we need to subdivide it, and we're going to subdivide it by 4. Let's start. I'm sure it's going to need 4 subdivisions. So you can see that the results are very, very similar to subdivision surface modifier, but and you can see that something is not right here. So we need to, just like we added a loop cut here, we're going to do the same thing here. Let's go into edit mode, and the difference between subdivision surface and multi-resolution is that when you're in edit mode, you don't see the change in the modifier in real time. So you need to change something and then go out of the edit mode to see what has happened actually. So this is not the good thing, but everything has its pluses and minuses. Something is, you win some, you lose some, you know. So what do we do now? We're going to add a loop cut, but this time we're going to add 2 of them. So Control R, this is one, and we're going to scroll with our mouse up, click once and click another time, and now we have 2 loop cuts, and we're going to scale them not on the x-axis but on the y-axis. So why aren't they scaling, you might ask? And I'm going to tell you why. Because our transform pivot point is set to individual origins. So if these geometries are separated, like in this case, he's setting the point, he's setting the transform pivot points. Sorry about that, that's just my dog walking around. I don't know if you can hear the tappity tap. Anyway, so the pivot points are right here, and they're all scaling on the y-axis like this, and so nothing happens. So we're gonna set our transform pivot point to bounding box center. So this is like a bounding box, and the pivot point is going to be here. So when we scale it, these loop cuts are going to move. Let's see if I'm right. S to scale, Y to constrain on y-axis, and this is exactly what we wanted. I could have just added 2 loop cuts in position 1 and then the other, but then they wouldn't have been symmetrical. So this is why I did this. Okay, let's go back into object mode to see what has happened. You can see now that this looks a little bit more like a rounded seat. But let's go back again. Let's go select all with A and scale everything on y-axis a bit more to go over the edge of the frame. And now let's see what have we done. Let's go a little bit more like this. Okay, this looks fine, but still, and I'm definitely gonna need to move it on the z-axis just a bit. Z just a bit. Let's go into, okay, this looks fine now, but this seat looks okay, but it's not exactly the shape we wanted. It's a little bit too sharp here, and also these two are and it's like not, it's like not real, you know. It looks too perfect. Of course, nothing in reality is perfect like this geometry that we've created right now. So what we're gonna do, and now starts the fun of this episode, we're gonna go into sculpt mode. Sculpting, let's go here. Oh, this is nice. And we're gonna okay, with this tool selected, this is the only tool you're gonna use, and it's already selected out of the box. You don't need to sculpt another David. You're not Michelangelo, I know. But anyway, some knowledge about sculpting is very useful, and it's really, really easy to use in Blender. So let's begin. So this is our tool that we're going to use, and as you can see, the cursor is showing us our brush size. This size you can change it by pressing F on the keyboard and moving your mouse for a bigger or a smaller size brush. And I think this size should be okay, maybe a bit bigger, like this. And my pen, for my tablet, because I have a tablet. I don't know if you can see it. It's a graphics tablet, but you actually don't need it. But I'm still gonna use it, so sorry. And I have a pen. I have an Apple pen, you know. Okay, sorry. You can see in viewport preview that our faces are smooth, but when you're navigating with the mouse, you can see that the geometry is regressing to some lower subdivision setting. So to fix that, you need to go into options and turn off fast navigate. Okay, and now this is fixed. Perfect. So what are we gonna do with this chair? This draw. So draw tool adds bumps. Let's call it bumps. This is actually called sculpting. I'm gonna undo this. I just wanted to show you what was this all about. But we don't want to draw. We want to smooth. But every single tool that you choose, from every single tool, you can press Shift and hold to select a smooth brush. So hold Shift and smooth your object. Do you see it smoothing? It's smoothing, right? Oh my god, how cool is this? How cool is this? Okay. This looks much better, but fast navigating. We need to smooth this part here. We need to smooth it a lot. And we need to smooth all this. Anyway, I'm gonna speed up this a bit so you can you don't need you just smooth whatever you want to get that look that we're going for. We could have also turned on symmetry, but then it would defeat the purpose of making an object that doesn't look so artificial, you know. So it's better to keep the symmetry off and just smooth by hand from both sides. Okay, when you're happy with the look of smoothing, if you smooth enough, then, oh sorry, I went a little bit too far over there. Then you can just make your brush a bit bigger, like this, and add some weird geometry up, you know, like this, to make it like, and then smooth it again, of course. So you just add and smooth until you're happy with the result. Add and smooth. Okay, I think we're almost there. I think I'm gonna add a bit of geometry here because I think I ate too much. Okay, I think this now looks just right. Just right. Don't you think so? Okay, let's go back into our layout tab. And now let's just move this a bit down on the z-axis like this. Okay, this looks nice. This looks, and you can see that this cushion looks much more natural than the one before the sculpting. Okay, what's next? Let's go into let's create our back for our back of the chair, and let's do it the same way we did our seat. So let's Shift D our frame, right click to keep it in place. Let's call it back our object. Sorry about the caps. And let's turn off all the rest. Sorry, I'm gonna keep the seat because it doesn't get in the way. And again, I'm gonna turn off all our modifiers. I'm gonna shade flat. I'm gonna shade flat, and then I'm gonna go into edit mode, and I'm gonna select this face loop by pressing 3, and on this edge hold Alt and click on the edge to select all faces in this loop, delete them, select this face, press L to select all connected geometry, delete that, and we have our start geometry for our back. Let's go into edge select mode with 2 and select this edge and press F. It's gonna close it, and then we're gonna select this loop. We're gonna go into 3 face select mode with holding Alt, click on this edge, and we selected all this face loop. And we're gonna go again into extrude along normals. Yay! And extrude like somewhere around, this looks maybe too much. Let's set it 1.5. And you can see that here is a little bit narrower than here, and you can set this to offset even, but in our case this looks even better, so we're gonna keep this. But we don't need all this extra geometry here, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna select this loop, we're gonna Control I to select inverse, we're gonna delete faces, so now we have this. And we're gonna go into our select mode, into our edge select mode, select this edge, and press F to close the face. Do it again and 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 again to close the whole face. Okay, and the same thing on the other side. Okay, so this is it. Let's bring back our frame to know where we're going. Okay, so here let's reselect. Okay. Let's select these faces, and G to move, Y, hold Control to snap, and we have the beginning of our magnificent back. Magnificent back. Have you ever seen a better looking back? Anyway, let's go back into object mode, and let's do the same thing we did with our seat. So I'm not even gonna talk about it anymore. You're just gonna do it by yourself, and you can watch me do it in a little bit of a faster mode. So see ya. Now let's go back to object mode, and you see that our frame a bit has gone up, so let's select our frame object and go into edit mode. We're gonna need to go over here, select this face, and with GG we're gonna put it a bit somewhere around here. Should be okay, but we need to go into this and scale it a bit on the y-axis, just a bit, like this. Okay, and now everything looks the way it's supposed to, right? Looks kind of cool. I think it looks okay. Okay, guys, so you finished, guys. Yeah, good for you. And I promise next video is the last one. We just need to talk a little bit about UV mapping and rendering, and that should cover it. A little bit of node shading. Okay, but we have our work set up. You've just finished a chair without knowing anything in Blender. How good is this? And only a couple of videos of maybe 20-25 minutes. It's not that bad. Come on, stay with me, stick with me. Anyway guys, see you in the next one and talk to you later. Bye.